Back at home, it was a sold-out event for the 37th annual Giants Awards and Banquet in Grand Rapids earlier tonight. She said she was looking to spark joy, and then joy came unexpectedly.
That's right, in the form of Marvis Herring with an old letter.
And she was like, why is Marvis Herring knocking on my door super late? But it turned out to be a big surprise. You could see her really reliving those memories and just see how much she lit up.
Leon and Heather, I don't think there's any better way to show you how powerful this wind is than to show you right now here at the lakeshore in Holland. Take a look at these massive waves just crashing against the shoreline. I mean, this wind will just take your breath away. Even with this flooded road, you can't really tell how severe this flooding is. We have a bird's eye view that shows all of the damage and ice, but you get the real idea when you step inside. Sue, good evening. Viant Medical says it's shutting down part of its operations by the end of the year, the part that's reportedly heightening Westside residents' risk of cancer.
Let's lighten things up now to a unique story that started right here in West Michigan.
Maria Gomez prefers to speak Spanish, but she had no problem finding the English translation for how she felt when her son was wrongfully detained by federal immigration officials.
Almost had a heart attack when I heard that my son was in immigration's hand.
Hilmar Ramos Gomez was born in Grand Rapids. His mother says he was eager to join the Marine Corps and received medals for his service.
So they don't care what he did for his country. So that makes me mad.
Tonight, the big question is why ICE flagged him as undocumented. We asked the Kent County Undersheriff.
I don't really even know what a Sawyer is. I don't even know that I know what a Laker is.
We don't have enough time to
So we'll Google that in a little bit.
Rotten garbage, that seems to be the most common description I've heard from many of the visitors coming in here. I've also heard from one kid, it smells like grandpa's burps. Other people say it smells like a sewer. Some people said that it smells like any other flower, sweet. So there's been lots of descriptions of this corpse flower. You may know her as Putricia. It's like your baby's all grown up now. Has finally bloomed after 18 years. Right. For people at home, we don't have smell vision yet. How would you describe the smell yourself?
Hey, Marvis.
This is a fun story.
Alicia, thank you. Also, just into our newsroom, emergency responders are at a rollover crash on M6. The details are limited. You can still feel the pain from the winces on her face, but Lila DeLine's progression is undeniable.
There's still times where I sit here now and go, my head is screwed on, literally screwed on, and that's the only thing keeping it on.
She'd almost made it to her Cedar Springs home on August 16th. Her husband heard the custom exhaust on her 2008 Chrysler 300, but when he went to meet her in the driveway, their whole world changed.
He was looking at my car when she hit me.
You can see the car's twisted, mangled metal from the crash, her vehicle landing in the ditch by her house.
And I was slumped over the center console, not breathing.
Her husband quickly put his first aid skills to work, securing his wife's head while the at-fault driver held the 911 call to his.
He sat there holding my head and neck the entire time until the paramedics came.
So he's literally holding your head and neck in place so you can breathe.
Yep.
Keeping her head still may have been a life-saving call, according to doctors.
I took care of her while she was in the ICU, and she couldn't move anything. The best that she could do was blink to commands. She couldn't move, she couldn't talk, she couldn't do anything. She wasn't even breathing on her own.
I thought that was gonna be my life. I thought that my life was gonna be ventilators and diapers and not being able to communicate.
I'm sure that was emotional for you.
It's emotional now.
But that wasn't all that was in store. Lila's treatment at Spectrum Butterworth and Mary Free Bed Rehabilitation Hospitals yielded unbelievable results.
It's one of the most remarkable things that I've ever seen. I was completely floored.
DeLine credits the hospitals, especially her nurses, for motivating her through dark times. Her love for her daughters, also an extra dose of strength.
And I remember laying there going, this isn't me. I'm not staying in this bed. I'm going to do what I need to do to get out of this situation.
North Korean state media confirms that leader Kim Jong-un traveled by train to Vietnam today for his second summit with President Trump. It's scheduled for this Wednesday. Kim was reportedly accompanied by a key negotiator. What a lesson for that flight school student who was a part of that, gliding underneath these traffic lights and everything coming out okay. Well, in other news, Lalisa Desisa of Ethiopia has won the New York City Marathon, holding off second place by less than 2 seconds. Desisa finished in 2 hours, 5 minutes, and 59 seconds. Brian, good evening. When she was only 7 months old, Jada Ellenboss became the first kid in Michigan to survive a thymus transplant. She was born without one. Tonight, her immune system is improving, but it's still fragile. Jada Ellenboss has got moves. The Hudsonville toddler is making huge strides with the hand she's been dealt, complete DeGeorge syndrome.
Sickness is a huge deal because she can't fight off any sickness at all.
Jada's body just started producing T cells for the first time since she was born. No T cells means no immune system. Her parents say that nearly killed her when Jada first came home from the NICU. That's why we had to chat via Skype.
Anything that comes in, groceries, anything, we wipe down everything because it's so critical.
You're good. Yeah.
Getting that transplant was necessary, but it was no easy task. No kids have ever done it in Michigan. It's not FDA approved, and that meant fighting with insurance.
I think they told us like it was around $900,000 if we wanted to pay for it ourselves.
But Helen DeVos Children's Hospital helped them out. In 2017, they were on this private flight to Duke University in North Carolina.
And we have dinosaur.
2 years later, and her brother Odin doesn't go to preschool.
Honestly, nobody can come over and see her, so.
Family members rarely are invited. When they are, they're limited to the yard or garage, and they still have to wear masks and gloves.
We just don't let anyone in our house just because, you know, Jada's crawling around and putting her hands in her mouth, so you just have to be really careful.
It's been a change for this close-knit family, one that's not always easy, but there's no other option for them.
A lot of it is just a habit now, right? It's like,
yeah,
our mindset has changed where it's like the world is a dirty place.
And she's just such a little warrior, as you saw on there, Brian. I mean, she's had a trach. She still has her feeding tube, but there's definitely a lot of hope right now. Her body producing those T cells is good news. That means maybe she'll be able to fight this infection, be able to get out and see a lot more of the world, not just from, you know, behind a window or inside her house.
You want to hear more of that giggle, and you know, it's got to be tough for, you know, parents under the best circumstances have a lot of challenges, but this family, talk about even what dad has to go through when he comes home.
Just so much so, even mom left her job as a dental hygienist, but dad, when he gets home from work, he immediately leaves his coat, his backpack in the car, wipes down his glasses every day, wipes down his phone before he can even do anything. Right when he gets home, they had a nurse for a little bit. That nurse had a virus, then Jada got sick. Good evening. It looks like a scene from Frozen. And meet my friend Elsa, one of the animals at the zoo that loves the snow.
We have some mullet fish, and then
we dropped in on Chumani and Slide's dinner time, but with all the slithering through the snow and swimming in icy waters,
go.
It's clear they don't mind the cold.
To get the otters outside, we actually just spent probably a good 45 minutes breaking up the ice. We do have a bubbler system, but when it gets down this low for several days in a row, it just can't keep up.
Keeping up is a full-time job. The zoo's animal care supervisor said clearing the snow is a huge part. If it piles too high, animals could escape. We were greeted by this mountain lion, unfazed by the mounting snow.
What are you doing? I know.
The snow leopard, still visible, but passing on polar playtime.